Hey loves, your girl has applied for the 2025 Sephora Squad and I'm really excited. They say third time is a charm, right? But I need your help. I would love and appreciate if you guys could submit testimonials letting Sephora know why I'm so amazing and why they need to select me to be on their next Sephora Squad. The link to submit testimonials can be found down below in my description box, and testimonials can be submitted until September 4th. Thank you guys so much in advance. Hello my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl Kensthetic with the Kensthetics, and I'm here with you guys today with a new video. So in today's video, I will be sharing my current updated everyday makeup routine. I'll be sharing the products, steps, tips, and tricks that I use to achieve a flawless fire makeup beat. Okay, this video is going to be super beginner friendly. I'm going to explain each step that I'm doing, why I'm doing it, in order to get things nice and blended. So if you guys are looking for a very detailed makeup tutorial, baby, for a woman of color, this is it. So before we get started with today's video, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, give this video a big thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I will have links to all of the products used in today's video down below in the description box. So make sure you guys reference the description box for details or more details on any of the products that we're going to use in today's video. The links down below are affiliate links. So when you guys shop through those links, your girl makes a little coin. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get into the makeup. So I know I'm going to get questions on my hair. I did record my hair. I basically did a wash and go today, and it's still drying. So that's why it looks a little out of shape, but it's gonna come together. Okay, trust the process. So I already did my morning skincare routine. If you guys want to see my morning skincare routine, I have a very detailed video on my YouTube channel, so I'll link that up above as well as down below. So skincare is done. Y'all see the skin, y'all see the glow or whatever. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go in with a primer. So before you even sit down and start your makeup, you wanna make sure your skin is nice and moisturized. So I know some people apply a moisturizer before they go in with their primer and their concealer and all of the other steps. But I feel like my morning skincare routine does a great job moisturizing my skin. So on days where I go from like skincare to makeup, I don't apply moisturizer. But say I did my morning skincare and I'm going out at 8 p.m., baby, I feel like I need a little bit of moisture. So during those beats, I will go in with my Lawless Forget the Filler Skin Plumping Line Smoothing Perfecting Cream. But today's not one of those days because I literally just did my morning skincare routine. So I'm gonna go in with my primer. So the primer we're using today is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. So you wanna make sure that you're applying a primer before you go in with any product, because primers basically serve as a base for everything that you're gonna do after. So if you don't want your makeup moving throughout the day, if you don't want things melting, if you don't want things slipping and sliding, it's super important that you start off with a primer. I remember at one point during my makeup journey, I was not wearing a primer. This was like 4 years ago where I actually started wearing primer, and I was just like, I don't need a primer. It's just a whole extra step, baby. A primer will make a difference. A primer and a setting spray will literally make a huge difference. So I always make sure to start off with the primer. I love this Milk Hydro Grip Primer because it literally just allows everything that you put on after to grip to your skin. Like, they knew what they were doing when they named this product. So I love this primer right here. It's literally one of my faves. I like to prime, and here's how my skin looks after priming. As you guys can see, I do have some dark spots and hyperpigmentation. No, my skin is not perfect. Yes, it is okay. So before I go in with any like complexion products, I'm gonna color correct my dark spots, and to do that, I like to use a concealer that's my skin tone. I feel like some people go in with like, you know, purples, the greens, the oranges, the yellows, the X, Y, and Z, the whole color theory of getting rid of dark spots. What works for me is just using a concealer that's my skin tone. So I'm gonna go in with my Sephora Collection Best Skin Ever Concealer in the shade 50N. I love this concealer. One, it's super affordable. Two, the shade range of this concealer is sick. Like, when it comes to Sephora Collection, they are going to make sure that they have a shade for every skin tone, every undertone. They do not play. So I really love this concealer. I've been using it for some years now, and the shade 50N is the most similar to my skin tone as well as my undertone. When it comes to complexion products, you want to make sure that you are using products that complement both your skin tone and your undertone, because a product could be your skin tone, but it could have a different undertone. So if you need help of finding like your skin tone, your undertone, I highly recommend going to Sephora and getting a color IQ quiz done. They give you, I think, 1,000 beauty insider points when you get it done. They do a scan of your skin to show you what your skin tone is as well as your undertone. My undertone is neutral, but before I was making the mistake and I was using products that had yellow undertones, and it was just not doing it for me. So when I look back at my old makeup pictures, I'm like, yeah, girl, why would you ever think this was okay? But if you need help figuring out your skin tone and your undertone, go to Sephora, get the color IQ quiz done. It's free, it's easy, and you get 1,000 beauty insider points. And who doesn't like free beauty insider points? After you get your color IQ quiz done, whenever you go to Sephora's website and you're signed in and you go to look at a concealer or a foundation, they basically show you like, hey, this is the shade that you would need based on your color IQ quiz. So I think that's super cool. Just a little tip in case you don't know how to match yourself to complexion products. So I basically go over any dark spots that I know are gonna show through my foundation and try to steal the show. We don't want that. So I just went in and applied some concealer. I let that concealer dry down for a bit, and while that is drying down, I like to go in with my brow pencil. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in dark brown. I'm not using it yet. I'm just using the spoolie to just brush my brow hairs up. I don't know. I just like doing this. It feels good. I just washed all of my makeup brushes. Baby, beating your face after you just wash your makeup brushes, it's a luxury. It is a luxury. Your beat is gonna eat. That's why I was like, let me record this video today. I have nice clean brushes, nice clean hair. Like, who's telling me anything? So to blend out that concealer that we color corrected with, I'm gonna use my Sephora collection brush in 57. It's like a cute fluffy brush, and this does a great job blending out the concealer without picking up too much product. I love this brush so much. So I'm literally just like patting the product into where I want it to stay. I'm not moving it around too much. I'm literally just patting it in. When you're doing this, you want to make sure all edges are blended so that the concealer is just not like sitting. So I wouldn't leave it like this. Y'all see that? You could see the edges. So you have to make sure you blur the edges out. And if you are a beginner and you don't really feel like you know how to work with brushes too well, baby, get you a good sponge. I like these sponges. These are from Amazon. They come in a pack of like 10 and they're super affordable. So you can either blend out that concealer using a sponge, or you can go in with a sponge after you finish blending with the brush. I like to use my sponge just to make sure I have the edges blending out real well. I don't go over the whole area. I just go over the areas on the edge just to make sure everything is nice and blended. So now we have a nice even base to get started with. I'm gonna go in with my contour, my cream contour. I've been loving this Tower 28 Sculptino cream contour in the shade Simon. And I'm gonna use my canvas brush. This brush was actually made by one of my babes from high school, one of my close friends from high school. This is a double-sided brush, so I like to use the flat side for contour, and then I like to use the fluffy side for my blush, which we're gonna see in a second. So I'm going in with the buff side. I'm gonna pick up some of my cream contour. And contour is basically a step that you do to add dimension to your face. Contour and highlight, and they both add dimension to your face. So I'm going in with my cream contour, and I like to apply it on my cheekbones. So here. I also like to apply it on my forehead. I have my hair down today, so usually I would go like a little further out, but that's all we're gonna do for now. And then I like to take some contour and apply it down the bridge of my nose. Like this. It looks crazy now, but I'm telling y'all, trust the process. Like that. Next, I'm gonna blend the cream contour out. I'm using this brush. I don't know where I got this brush from. It says JS on it, But this is the shape of the brush, just so you guys can see. It's like more of a dense brush. And I'm basically gonna go in and just blend the contour out. I like to just press it in. I'm not moving it, I'm not swiping it, not yet. I'm just pressing it in just so that it can like diffuse that cream contour. See? And then I'll take whatever's left on my brush and I'll just go across my jawline as well. And then I'm gonna blend out the contour that we put down the bridge of my nose. That doesn't have to be perfect. I'll show you guys why in a second. Here's a blended out contour. Next, I'm gonna go in with my blush. I'm using the Rare Beauty Pinch. I think this is the Pinch blush in the shade Lucky. This blush is super pigmented, so you wanna be very careful with her. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply my liquid blush right above where we had applied the contour. So it's sitting right on my cheekbone, you see? And I like to use 3 dots. That's like my measure of how much product I like to use. Make sure it's symmetrical. I think we did a good job. And then I'm gonna use the other end of my canvas brush to blend the liquid blush. To blend it, I'm just literally tapping it in. It's gonna look a little crazy, but remember what I said, trust the process, like that. I am bringing it up a little bit to the side of my face because when we blend everything out, it's going to look more like seamless and airbrushed. But once again, trust the process because I know I look crazy right now. Then I'm gonna go in with my sponge and I'm basically gonna use, I use one sponge, but I use different areas of the sponge. So I'm gonna use one side of the sponge and I'm gonna blend the blush. So I'm just pressing the sponge into the areas with the liquid blush. And the purpose of blush when it comes to our makeup is to add a flush of color to our cheeks. It's supposed to give the impression that you're actually blushing. And I know as people of color, it's like, we don't really blush. Like, we don't get red, we don't get, you know what I'm saying? But the makeup, it just eats. It adds like a nice fresh brightness to your face. And I never used to use blush before, believe it or not. But after I started using it, baby, I have not been able to skip this step because it just eats. So here's how the liquid blush looks after I blend it out with the sponge. Now we are going to highlight. Highlight is a step, another step that helps to add dimension to the face. To highlight, I like to use a concealer that is the same undertone but one shade lighter, just so you can have a little brightness. I don't do the whole like bright light bright under eye. I know some people watch my channel and they're like, yeah girl, we love that about you, because I'm not into the whole UK baddie bright under eye situation. I like for everything to look nice and natural, so I do the same undertone in my concealer, just one shade lighter. So 50N is, I think, like medium deep with a neutral undertone, and then the shade that I use to highlight is 35N, which is the same undertone, just one shade lighter. So I'm going in with my Sephora Best Skin Ever Concealer in the shade 35N, and I'm basically going to apply some concealer here in the inner area where we're gonna highlight and the outer area. I don't do too much with the concealer because I don't like for my face to ever look or feel cakey. So the less product I could use to get a result, the less product I will use to get the result. I'm gonna apply a little bit of concealer in the middle of my forehead. You see that the contour kind of took over the forehead, so this is gonna add a little brightness back. I'm gonna take some concealer down the bridge of my nose. Remember how we had contoured our nose? This is basically going to add some dimension. But the step of putting the cream contour on your full nose and then the concealer in the middle is basically an easier way, and also it's easier to get it symmetrical than putting the concealer and then going down the bridge of your nose, if you know what I'm saying. It's just basically like reverse contouring your nose. And then I like to put a little bit on my chin area, and that's it. That's it. Not too much, babes, not too much. I let this dry for a little bit, so I'm gonna let it sit for like 30 seconds. So 30 seconds later, we're gonna blend out the concealer. I'm gonna use that same Sephora brush in 57, and I'm basically going to press that concealer in, but I'm also moving it so that it can cover this area here. So we can basically overlap what we blended out for that liquid blush to give us a nice like seamless look. So it should go like a diffused look from the concealer to the blush to the contour. So I'm just pressing it in and covering that full surface. I get my eyelid so it can serve as like an eyeshadow primer. Bring it up to my brow bone. See? And I'm also bringing it to the side of my nose to clean up that contour that we had applied to the bridge of our nose. So everything is nice and snatched. Forehead, I'm bringing it a little up just so that my forehead isn't cut short by that contour. I like to just bring it up and leave about like 3/4 of an inch of contour on my forehead. Bridge of my nose, I'm literally just swiping it, not moving it. I'm just blending it in and down, because we still want, you see how we have that nice snatched contour on the side of the nose? That was the purpose of us putting the contour first and then the concealer after. Period. I told y'all, trust the vision. Now the blush is a little bit too much, so I'm going in with the brush that we used to blend out the contour, and I'm just using an upward stroke to blend the cream contour into the blush to kind of like calm it down a bit. I'm not adding any additional product. I'm just doing this. This will be fine for now. So now foundation. I apply foundation to this area here and around my mouth and a little bit here. So those are the areas I apply foundation. I know some people put foundation all over their face. Oh, I also bring it down my neck a little bit too, so everything is nice and seamless. But I know some people apply foundation all over their face and then they'll go in with all of these steps. But I do foundation last just because I'm like, I don't want my face looking or feeling cakey, and I feel like, what's the purpose of the foundation under these areas where we already know what we have to do? You know what I'm saying? So for foundation, I'm mixing my Sephora Best Skin Ever foundations in the shade 50N and 53.5N. So I take one full pump of the 50N, and then I take like a 1/4 pump of the 53.5N, not too much. The 53.5N is a little darker, so depending on the status of my tan, I'll put a little bit more. But as of right now, my tan is very much so like not here, so you don't have to do too much, babes. I like to use this Morphe brush. This is the E63 brush. This brush is now discontinued, but you guys can see the shape of the brush to understand the type of foundation brush that I like to use. With the brush, I'm gonna blend the two colors together to give us a nice consistent paste. And I'm going to apply the foundation here. And as I'm applying it, I like the edge of this brush because it allows me to clean up the contour area around my mouth. And the purpose of foundation is basically just to me, it's like to bring back the original color of your skin or tone of your skin so that everything can be nice, balanced, and even. So my foundation, as you guys can see, it's lighter than my contour, but it's also darker than the concealer that we used to highlight. I apply some here. And then I have to take some down my neck because I do not need to be looking crazy. And also I match my foundation to the middle of my chest. My chest isn't out today because I have on like a tank top, but I match my foundation to the center of my chest so everything can be nice and cohesive. My face varies. Sometimes my face is lighter than my chest, sometimes it's darker, but the chest area is a great measure of the tone of your foundation, just so you guys know. I'm gonna use a little bit to blend on top the blush area. So here's our face with foundation. And then I'm gonna go in with my sponge just to pick up any extra product before we start setting. Anything that may not be blended enough gets blended now. I'm just using the opposite flat side of the sponge. So it's important to make sure everything is nice and blended before you set, because if not, you're gonna be setting the cakiness, the fluffiness, the extra stuff, and we don't have time for that. So now we're gonna set. The first thing that I like to do to set is use my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. I like to use this setting spray after all of my liquid products on and before we get started with powders, because I feel like it does a great job locking all of the liquid products in and making sure it has a nice set situation so that we can go in with our powders afterwards. I'm gonna make sure that this dries before we apply any powder. So when it comes to your makeup, you wanna make sure you set. I cannot emphasize it enough, because if not, you will be looking oily, you will be looking greasy, things will be moving, slipping and sliding, because you're not setting, you're not locking in all of the hard work we just did. So I like to start with the setting sprays you guys just saw. And next up, I'm gonna go in with my powders. So to set the areas where we have concealer, I'm gonna use my One Size setting powder in the shade Marigold. And I'm gonna start off with a brush first. This is the Morphe M586 brush, I believe. But this is like a teardrop brush, and I'm gonna use it to pick up the setting powder. And then dust off the extra on one side, and I'm going to press that into the areas where we put concealer. Make sure you look up so you can get all under your eye. So you can see a side-by-side comparison. This is before we set with the powder, and this is after we set with the powder. You see the difference, like, hello? So after I apply setting powder with the brush, I like to go in with a powder puff. So this is just a powder puff from Amazon, and I like to go in with the same shade of the setting powder. I'm gonna tap off any extra. And this just, I feel like, helps to just reinforce the setting powder. Like, it just presses it into the skin. I feel like this helps with the longevity of my makeup. When I just set with the brush, I feel like my makeup doesn't, you know, stay set as long. But when I do both of these, yeah. And it also gives my face a nice airbrush look as well. So once again, for a side-by-side comparison, this side is set just with the setting powder on a brush, and this is set with the setting powder on the brush plus the setting powder on the powder puff. You see the difference? I like to also make sure I set my brow area with the powder puff, so that when we are ready to do our brows, that area is, you know, nice and ready for us. Next up, we're gonna go in with some powder bronzer. So the bronzer I've been enjoying is actually discontinued. It's a Sephora collection bronzer in the shade Ibiza. They have a new version of this, but I mess with the old version so much that I have like 3 backups in my stash right now. I feel like we all have that one makeup brush that's toned up, but we just refuse to throw it away because we have so much history with it. That's my bronzer brush. This is the Lip Bar brush. Y'all, when I tell y'all this thing is chopped and screwed, okay? But she still works. So this is the shape of the brush that I use to blend out my bronzer, but I'm just gonna pick some up and basically go over the areas where we applied cream contour. So here on our cheeks, forehead, and I'm brushing it in an upwards motion. This helps to add dimension on top of that setting powder we just did. I'm gonna go down the sides of my nose very carefully, very demure, very mindful. And I like to diffuse that up into my brow bone. And then I like to go over my eyelids briefly. And then I like to go in with a face powder, which is basically just a powder that is your skin tone, just to make sure everything is nice and blended. I'm using this huge brush. This is the Real Techniques powder brush. And I'm using the Sephora Collection Micro Smooth and Toffee as my face powder. And this also helps us to set our foundation as well. So I'm just going in and brushing everywhere basically. With the light hand, super light hand. Super considerate. Next up, I'm going to set my blush. So this is gonna help us add a little bit more color to the face. Like you can still see the liquid blush, but we wanna see a little bit more. So I'm using the Sephora Collection blush in the shade Hey Jealousy on my Milk Makeup blush brush. So I'm gonna pick up a good amount of blush. And I'm going to apply it on top of where we had applied the liquid blush. I'm covering the same area, like I'm bringing it up a little bit on the sides of my forehead. So this concludes the setting section. Well, no, we have to set with setting spray, duh. So I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray to set, again, with powders. I use 3 different setting sprays, y'all. I do a lot. I do the most all the time. And I also like to use this CoverGirl Priming Glow Mist just to make sure everything marries together well. I feel like that CoverGirl also helps to add a little bit of glow to my face as well. So we're gonna make sure that both of these sprays dry really well. I totally forgot to do my brows before I set with the spray, but baby, brows still have to be put on. Ooh. Brows still have to go on. So I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown. And I'm gonna start off by just spooling the hairs upwards again. I just like brushing my little bit of brow hair. I really don't have much of a brow, but I make it work, okay? I make it work. I make it work. So I'm using the pencil. I'm gonna put one line at the top, one line at the bottom, one line at the top, and then just do upward brow strokes. I can't speak while I do this, so just watch. Maybe that is a brow, okay? So brows have been drawn in. Now I'm going in with my Sephora Best Skin Ever Concealer in the shade 35N. This is the shade that we had used to highlight. And I'm using this brush. This is from Morphe. It's their M124 brush. But this is the shape of the brush. It's just a little rounded. Ooh, I picked up too much. And I like to pick up my concealer from like the top of the cap and just carve out my brows underneath. With a very light hand. And then I drag that line downwards. Lightly. Blend it down. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of my bronzer with an eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to sweep that across my eyelids to, one, help further set my eyelids, and two, kind of serve as a everyday eyeshadow. So as I mentioned, I usually do these steps before I set, but I forgot y'all. I forgot. Y'all got me nervous. Y'all got me real nervous. I'm out here making mistakes and stuff. Nah, but it's cool. And then I just make sure I blend it all the way up to that concealer. Cool. Now we are going to do our lip. I like to do my lip and then lashes. So for the lip, I'm going to line using my Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade 608 Limitless Brown. And I do have some lip balm on. I do want to call that out because I wasn't going to come on camera with my lips ashy. Like, never. I also know I'm doing a glossy lip, so it's fine. But if I was doing a matte lip, I would have wiped this off before getting started. This brown liner needs to be in everybody's makeup collection. I'm gonna do a video of like my favorite like lip essentials for the fall season. The girlies were raving about this lip liner, but I'm telling y'all, it is that good. Like, y'all know I'm a brown lip liner connoisseur, so yeah. Lip gloss today, I'm going in with my Amicole lip oil in the shade Excellence. It's a beautiful brown. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. And when I apply my gloss, I like to go over my liner. I don't let it be dry on the outside and then juicy on the inside. I don't like that. Like, how perfect is this lip combo? Hello? Let me put you guys on to my little lash cocktail. For lashes, we're going to start off with our Lancome Seals Booster XL. This is a mascara base. If y'all are not using a mascara base, let me put y'all onto game real quick. If you are a girly who likes to wear your natural lashes and you want more of a voluminous, elongated look to your natural lashes, get you a mascara base, specifically this one right here. It's just like a white base and it helps, one, with the mascara running. So if your mascara tends to slip and slide throughout the day, it's gonna get you together. If you want longer lashes, more voluminous lashes, you wanna get more of the claims out of your mascaras, get you a mascara base. So I like to go in with this on my top and bottom lashes first. So I know it looks scary, but what did I say? You gotta trust the process. Then I go in with my YSL mascara. This is the YSL Lash Clash mascara. Literally one of the best mascaras on the market. She a little pricey, but she gets the job done real well. And I like to shimmy my mascara when I put it on. I feel like it helps make my lashes look more full. Cover your lashes from root to ends. Don't be skimp. So the lashes look real good, but y'all know I'm extra in everything that I do. So I like to layer my mascaras. So now I'm gonna go in with this Lancome Lash Idole mascara. Like, look at the curve of this wand. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Yeah. Just how we like it. And I'm just gonna apply this over the lash clash. This combo of mascaras gets my lashes all the way together. Gives it a nice fuller look. You can already see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Lashes looking real good. Lashes looking real full. And absolute last step is to use my last setting spray. So this is the One Size Until Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. So this setting spray is like an aerosol, so it's okay to apply it with mascara on my eyes and everything because it's not like wet where it's going to let my mascara run. And also we have our mascara base on, so it's giving us some extra support. So I shake this up real well. So this is basically my updated everyday makeup routine. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. It was very detailed. I tried to be as detailed as possible. So I hope you guys understand each step that I was doing and why, because the why is super important. Just because I do all of these steps in my makeup, that doesn't mean that you guys need each and every step of my makeup routine. Unless I said like, don't skip this, then you can skip it. But if I say don't skip this, don't skip it, okay? I just want you guys to know exactly what I do, steps, tips, tricks, how I blend, do what my hand is doing, flip of the wrist, all of that. Y'all got to see it in this video. So I really hope you guys found this video helpful. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, all products mentioned and used in today's video, the brushes, everything will be linked down below in the description box for your ease of reference as well as your ease of shopping. So I hope you guys find that very helpful. If you guys made it all the way until the end of this video, thank you so much for tuning in and doing my makeup with me. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel because clearly you guys love it here. Turn on your bell notifications. Comment and let me know if you guys currently use any of these products or if you guys plan on picking up any of these products or start using any of these steps in your makeup routine. Comment down below and let your girl know. I love you guys so much and I'll see you guys in my next one.